Just wanted to clarify a few points from my last video. Some people reached out to me thinking that I was a little bit too favorable to the Chinese. I wanted to clarify that. It is obvious that the playing field is not level. For years, we've caved into Chinese imports, and we've been a consuming nation. And the Chinese currently charge U.S. imports an average of U.S. imports into China of 8%. The U.S. charges, on average, imports prior to the trade war of about 4%. So yes, the Chinese are charging our imports to their consumers twice as much as we charge our consumers for their imports. So that puts the fact that U.S. goods are a little bit higher. But that 8% or even 4%, 4 and 8%, that's a rounding error a lot of times in international trade and importing. I've had export and import companies for years, and that number, we put a cushion in there for exchange rates, for freight errors, for documentation errors, for delays, for missed shipments. There's a lot of reasons why 4% could be absorbed very quickly. Instead of putting tariffs on everything, we have coffee, which right now is going to impact the price of every Starbucks coffee sold, every other coffee sold in the U.S., and those tariffs are up to 45%. Those are going to cause inflation. What if instead of putting on tariffs, we put on a standard where that the companies overseas had to get a certification that they met the standards for safety, for labor laws, for environmental issues. The companies that didn't would not be allowed to export to the United States without a tariff on them. The companies did would have a smaller and lower tariff. This is not an easy program to implement, but we do the same thing right now for meat exports. Every factory overseas that ships meat to the United States is inspected. We could do the same thing here. Companies that didn't comply wouldn't be able to import or export to the U.S. as competitively, and then our factories would not be protected by tariffs that are artificially inflating the costs. They'd be protected by the fact that the Chinese or whatever manufacturer had to meet the same standards that our factories do. It's a novel concept, but it's one that doesn't tax the U.S. consumers. It taxes the companies that don't comply with the standards and balances the field.